You have to try. Hi y'all, I'm Brita for the Happier Attorney, the channel where we talk about mindset and flat fees and how you can be a happier attorney. And recently some things have reminded me that regardless of what you're trying to accomplish, whether you're trying to learn something or you're trying to improve something, whatever it is that you're trying, a lot of times we get into a trap where we're not actually trying. So I have fallen into the same thing. And I'll never forget a story that when I was trained, I was doing circus arts. And I had a great coach, Adrienne, who is now in law school. But I was doing something and I was scared. I was scared of getting hurt. And I was expecting her to physically help me. And she was not about to do that. That wasn't her job, and that wasn't going to help me anyway. And so I jumped, but I jumped half-ass. And without meaning a beat, she goes, "You have to try." And I was a little, a little hurt, a little, but she was right. She was totally right. And I see my own students sometimes, and I see other students in other programs, and they're not trying. And this might tick some people off, but so if something isn't working the way that you think it's supposed to be working, let's say you're not accomplishing what you think you're supposed to be accomplishing, I think it's helpful to take a minute and do some introspection. Some honest introspection. Because if you're not being honest with yourself, that's really dangerous. So is it actually not working, or is it just not working as fast as you want it to work? Do you have realistic and reasonable expectations? So I'll hear from my students, oh, this isn't working, this isn't working. And then when we go back and we look at actually what's happening, it is working. It absolutely is working. It's just not working as fast as they want. They are making improvements, but they want to get from here to here like that. And A, that's not reasonable. That's not realistic. B, it's not how it works, and it's not the way it's supposed to work. A lot of times, and I know that this is so frustrating, but so many times in my life when I'm like, I want it and I want it now, okay? First of all, that energy is getting in the way, number one. But when I look back, it was a good thing I didn't get it now. I wasn't ready for it now. I needed to learn. I needed to get ready for the next step. And so, a lot of times, I think of a plant. It might not seem like it's growing. You can't see below the soil. You can't see it's actually working. It's actually growing. So patience is really important. Number two is, are you taking 100% responsibility, or are you expecting whatever that is, whether it be a book or a program or a new way of doing whatever, are you expecting a savior? And that's a hard one to answer for yourself and admit. But when you are expecting that out there to solve all of your problems or to fix the thing, there's not a savior out here. You have to do it, and you have to own it. You have to take full responsibility for your thoughts and your behavior and your results. Okay? The third thing, and this is going to be touchy, are you doing the things? Honestly. Are you doing them to say that you did them, or are you doing them playing full out to actually get the thing? And it's a fine line, but it's a huge difference in the impact. You would be shocked at how many people pay even darn good money, $10,000, $40,000, $100,000 for programs and don't even try. Don't even do the things. Come to the calls. Participate in the coaching. Literally show up. You'd also be surprised at how many of those same people who literally don't show up turn around and say, why isn't this working? This isn't working. This program sucks. I'm not kidding. No program, no learning, no anything is going to work unless you do the things. That's not a reasonable expectation to have. You have to show up, and you probably have to do all of the things. They probably work together. And it might not work right away. Skills are learned, and you learn them by doing the thing. You learn how to do it by doing it. And it might take a long time. Is it worth it? And the bigger the thing, the bigger the skill, the longer it's going to take. Do you want it or not? I'm learning. I make bread. I thought I was a pretty good baker. I'd made a lot of bread. Now I'm learning sourdough. It's a whole different ball game. And it's hard. And you know what? I'll make a loaf and it'll turn out great. And I'm like, oh, I got it. And then the next 3 are shit. And you know what? If I keep going, at some point, I'm going to get it. At some point, I'm going to get it. I was watching a documentary on craftspeople throughout the world. Like true artisan craft people. And one of the things that struck me over and over again was this documentary talking about how long it took for these people to even get to the first level of this craft. We're talking about 5 years, 10 years, working full time. It takes more than you probably think it's going to take. And again, is it going to be worth it? That's up to you to decide. But especially if something is extraordinary, it's going to take extraordinary effort to get extraordinary. I'm not trying to be flip or ugly. We forget that though. So if you want extraordinary health or to be in extraordinarily good physical shape, you're going to have to work out extraordinarily. There is no 10-minute 6-pack abs. And we know that intellectually, and we still fall for it time after time after time. They're not shortcuts. If you want an extraordinary practice, you're going to have to do extraordinary things. period. It's possible, and shameless plug, flat fees are going to get you there faster than anything else, learning flat fees properly. But it's still not free. It's still not instant. And you're going to have to work to get it. You're going to have to do the things. And not just show up to say I showed up, but show up and play full out. If you're not doing that, you cannot expect the results. It might sound harsh. I fall into the same thing. And that's why I'm pretty careful about what I pursue. Because it's a horrible feeling when you're like, oh, I, quote, did it, but you know you didn't play full out. You know you didn't show up. You know you didn't really do it. And guess what? You're not going to get the results. You're just not. So this might have been hard to hear. If you're defensive, that's something to take a look at, because the person that you're harming the most is yourself. And most of the time this is a pattern. I used to have that pattern. I'll try this, but I'm not really going to do all of the things, and then wonder why I didn't get the results. Or yeah, I'll go to that networking thing, and I'll give 4 people my card, but I'm not going to engage in a real conversation with them. I'm not going to really try, and then wonder why I didn't get leads from that networking event. I used to be right there with you. And now look, if it's not worth me playing full out, I'm not going to do it. Either do it or don't. But if you don't, you can't expect the results, which is also why we really have to be judicious on what we're doing. Because you can't do all of the things. You can't play full out in all of the things. You only have so much energy. It's not even a time thing, it's an energy thing. So pick the 1 or 2 things that you're willing to really do and play full out, and then play full out. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, like, subscribe, comment. The more attorneys see this, the better our profession can be. And if you have any questions about learning flat fees, just go to happierattorney.com. Take care, y'all.